control unit, microprogrammed control unit. So everyone, first before going for a microprogrammed control unit, first tell me the parts of CPU. Tell me the parts of CPU. Uh, Tell me the parts of CPU. Ma.
ALU,
ALU,
registers,
registers,
then
and
auxiliary disk and tapes,
yes, ma. ALU registers correct. Next, anyone?
Control unit, ma'am.
Yes, very good. Control unit. Okay. So we'll be having three parts in CPU. One is ALU, and the other one is registers, and the other one is CU, control unit. Okay. So you must know actually the concept. I don't want to show the PPTs, but let me explain actually why we are studying microprogrammed control unit. Okay. So whenever the instructions which are present in the memory, so we have studied completely in the first unit what are the instruction format will be. So instruction format will be, you'll be having a mode, and you'll be having an opcode, and you'll be having a address of an operand. So you'll be having a address of the operand. Okay. So this opcode, what type of operation that instruction is doing, whether it is an addition or subtraction or increment, decrement, all those will be mentioned in an opcode. So based on this opcode, it goes to that particular ALU for performing arithmetic and ALU indicates arithmetic and logical operations. Okay. So all those operations will be done by ALU. Coming to registers, it is used for storing the operands. So you'll be mentioning the operand address. You will be going to that memory location and will be having an address of the operand. If you go to that, you'll be getting operands, and those operands you are storing inside a register so that the execution time will be faster. So temporary results and the operands will be stored inside a register so that the execution will become faster. That is about registers. Now coming for control unit. So can anyone tell me what is a use of a control unit? Right from starting we have discussed in the first unit what is the use of a control unit actually in ALU, in CPU. What control unit does? Anyone can answer, ma, please. What is the use of control unit? ALU is for arithmetic and logical operations to perform. Registers are used for storing the operands, so that the execution will become faster. Coming to control unit.
Input and output. It manages the input and output.
It manages the input and output. Anyone else?
It gives the signal to give the operands to
Yes, ma. Very good, very good. It gives us signals. Okay, means what? Like we as a human beings will be having we'll be getting a signals saying that we are hungry, or we'll be getting some kind of a signals saying that we need to do some kind of a work at that particular time. So in the same way, the main part of a CPU is control unit. So what control unit, you must understand this control unit, then only you can understand what we are doing in microprogrammed control unit. Okay. So control unit is, it has to pass a corresponding signals, then only you will be getting that you are hungry, or you need to do some work at this particular time. Everything will be done based on your brain signals. In the same way, inside a processor, control unit plays a major role. Means what? If the operands which are present inside a memory, if it wants to move from here to the registers, then a corresponding control signal has to be generated so that it moves. So it moves from one location to another location. So if it wants to move from one location to other location, or from keyboard, whenever I'm entering, those values has to be stored inside a memory, and from memory it has to go to the processor. So for that we need to generate a corresponding control signals. So this is about control unit. Now how to generate, how to implement that internally? So how to implement that internally is, we'll be having two types. Try to concentrate, ma. Control unit is nothing but it generates a corresponding control signals. Based on that signals, the moving will be happening. Means what? So if we are going for fetch means what we are doing, ma? If it is a fetch, what we are doing? If it is a fetch, we are fetching the data, the operands which are present in memory with the help of the bus, and we are going to that location, right? So now for that, it has to generate the signal saying that you need to read from a memory and you have to place it inside an ALU. So for that, control unit will be implemented in two ways. Control unit is implemented in two ways. One is hardwired control unit and the other one is microprogrammed control unit. Okay, so control unit can be implemented in two ways. One is hardwired control unit and the other one is microprogrammed control unit. Microprogrammed control unit. Okay, so in a hardwired unit, it is implemented based on a hardware circuit. Okay, so it is implemented based on a hardware circuit. Means control signals will be generated based, we have discussed, hardware circuits means flip-flops, encoders, decoders, the set will be using. So those all sets will be using, and we are connecting in such a way that, so if it wants to, then based on this, it has to execute those hardware set, so that a corresponding control signal will be generated saying that you need to read. So that is based on hardware. Okay, but the problem in a hardware is that if there is any change, if we want to update or anything, it won't be supported. Hardware will not be supported, and one more is complexity will be there. So because of that, we are going for a microprogrammed control unit. So this is about a software where we are writing the program. So we are just a minute. So we are in a microprogrammed control unit. Before that, I started with a processor parts. So we will be having an ALU, we'll be having a registers, we'll be having a registers, and we'll be having a CU. Okay, so for generating the CU, we'll be having two approaches. One is hardwired, which is hardware approach, and the other one is software approach, which is microprogrammed control unit. Okay, so hardware approach is that hardware approach, if you want to do any kind of a modification, it is very complicated in a hardware. Okay, why? Because it uses all the flip-flops, encoders, decoders, and it fixed, given an input, how it generates a corresponding control signals outputs. Okay, but whereas in a software, we in a microprogrammed control unit, we are writing the code. Okay, we are writing the program. Okay, so we are writing a set of programs, and based on this, it has to execute this. So if it executes this, what happens? A control signal will be generated. If this executes, a control signal will be generated. That indicates that. So for that, what we'll be saying this as a micro program. Try to concentrate. We'll be saying this as a micro program. Okay, so what is a micro program? A microprogram is nothing but even a microprogram will have an address. So it has to go to that address, and if it goes to that address, you will be having the micro operations. And if it executes, what happens? If you go to this particular address, you will be having the micro operations. If it executes this, then a corresponding control signals will be generated. Based on that, the processor will know that it has to read the data from the memory. So corresponding signals will be generated. So don't consider that if microprogram is executed, you'll be getting some values. So it generates, if it is executed, it will be generating a control signals. Okay, so let me explain about the terminology. So we'll start with microprogram. So a microprogram. Okay, so we are in a microprogrammed control unit. So microprogrammed control unit is implemented using a software. So the software means you are writing the program. So this program has to be stored in the memory. Has to be stored. Just a minute. So micro program can be the we are in a micro program where it can be implemented using a software. So this software you are writing some set of a program. So if it executes, it generates a corresponding control signals. So this program is written where? So it has to be saved inside a memory, right? So where we have to save is we have to save in read only memory. Okay, so it has to be in present days, even we'll be having a dynamic. In some cases it will be stored in random access memory also, but presently we have a let us consider the program that it is written is present in read only memory. Okay, so that memory this program which we save will be considered as control memory. Okay, so control memory. Okay, so control memory, let us consider this is your control memory, and inside those control memory you will be having a micro programs. So don't consider micro program is a single one, so you'll be having n number of micro programs. Like this one is one micro program, this one is one micro program, and the other micro program. Okay, first let us consider this is one more micro program. Okay, so a micro program is a set of micro instructions. Micro program is a set of micro instructions, is a set of micro instructions. Okay, so what is this micro program is, let us consider you have done your main program called a C program. Leave it about micro program now. I am concentrating on the program, the C program that you have written is stored inside a memory. Okay, so in order to start executing one by one the program, this is the micro program is different. So micro program if executed generates a control signals. A normal normal the program in that you have written will be stored inside a memory, and if it wants to execute, first it has to go for, in order to execute we have studied about three phases. It has to fetch first, next it has to decode, next it has to execute. Okay, so for fetching it has to generate a control signal saying that it has to go to that particular address and it has to read that. So for that, first this control memory signals has to be generated so that it will be going for a fetch of the main program. So here let us consider the first micro program here is fetch. According to our fetch, so fetch is a one micro program, decode micro program, and opcode. Okay, for doing addition, how many will be having one micro program, for subtraction like that. So what about a micro instruction? So micro instruction is, this is about, let us consider this is a micro program for fetch. Okay, now for fetching how many steps required, ma? First, whatever it is there in the program counter, we need to place in which register? The program counter. Did you remember program counter is what? Program counter. What is program
Shows the
counter, ma?
address of the next instruction, ma'am.
Yes. So this program counter is used for storing this the starting of the fetching. So for that, The program counter is used for storing the address of the next instruction. That program counter we need to place inside a address register. Okay, so we are placing inside an address register, and we are going to that address location, and we are getting an instruction. That instruction we are placing in instruction register, and inside an instruction register will be having a format. So instruction format will be having an opcode, having an address. Okay, so these will be considered. This is a fetch micro operation. Try to understand, this is a fetch micro operation. So inside a fetch micro operation you will be having a micro instructions. So see here, this is your micro instruction, this is your micro instruction, this is your micro instruction. So you'll be having let us consider 3 micro instructions. So which one is first? We are placing a program counter contents register and address register to instruction register, and from instruction register, based on that, we are again placing to AR the bits from 0 to the bits from 0 to how many bits we are placing in address register, ma? 0 to, we have studied about instruction format, right? So we'll be having an opcode and address. So 0 to
7, ma'am.
0 to 7. So 0 to 7 we'll be placing in address register. So again, these are some process. We are not concentrating on those. So these will be considered as micro instructions. This entire is called micro operation. Okay. So let me explain. Okay. So we have started with a control memory. We have started with a control memory. So we'll be having a control memory. We'll be having a set of micro programs, and we need to start with fetch micro program, and this fetch micro program will have a set of micro instructions. Let us consider we'll be having 4 micro instructions. Okay, and this 4 micro instruction, internally each one will be calling as micro operation. Okay, so micro operation means what? Based on our with what we are doing, based on that you will be having like the data as 1 0 0 0 1 1, like that internally. So that indicates that here if you have a 1, that indicates that we are this is will be considered as a control word. So it generates a corresponding signal based on that. If it is high, a corresponding signals will be generated. Based on that, it will be, the processor will get an idea that it has to read, it will generate a corresponding signal to read the data from a memory. Okay, so this is about micro operation. So each micro instruction is a set of micro operations. So how many micro operations will be based on the size of control memory? For, let us suppose, in the first unit we have discussed the memory size as 4096 into 16. Okay, so in the same way you will be given a control memory size also. So based on that you will be having a micro operations in that. So this is about micro programmed control unit. Let me clear. So in a micro programmed control unit, so we have a control unit. It can be implemented in 2 ways. The first one is using a hardware, and the second one is using a micro programmed control unit, where you are writing the program in a control memory, and this program is a collection of, you'll be having micro programs, and this micro programs will have a set of micro instructions, and these micro instructions will have a micro operations. If executed, if generate a control signals. This is about the micro programmed control unit. But how it executes? Try to concentrate more. So you need to concentrate more in this concept. See here. Till now I have discussed about control unit. So we in our syllabus we have a microprogrammed control unit. So a control memory. So here a control word, it is a control variable at any time is represented. Just now I said no, it is represented either 1 or 0. Okay, so by saying this, it can be implemented, the control memory can be implemented using random access memory, read only memory. Okay, so if it is implemented in using random access read only memory, means it is static. If it is implemented with RAM, means it is dynamic. Okay, so coming to the control unit. So here I just now discussed, will be represented in two. One is hardwired control unit and the other one is microprogrammed control unit. Okay, in this we will be discussing about my hardwired and microprogrammed. And in a hardwired control unit, how we will be implementing this in a control unit is implemented with the gates, flip-flops, decoders, and other digital circuits. The operations are fast, but the only problem is if the design has to be modified, it is very complicated. If the design has to be modified, then all the setting of those wires, setting input and output, all those has to be modified. So in such case, hardwired is not preferable. So we'll be going for microprogrammed control unit, where you'll be writing a program, and those programs will be either stored in a or maximum will be storing in read-only memory. And see here, this is a operation. See, try to concentrate. We'll be having a user programs, and user programs will be stored, and we'll be calling those as machine instructions. But if it is mentioned as micro instruction, it is memory concentrate. Machine instruction is the program that the users have written for, let us consider, the addition of two numbers or subtraction of two numbers. This is a machine instruction. Machine instructions are completely different from micro instructions. Micro instructions, if executed, will generate the control signal as an output. Okay, my machine instructions, if executed, will generate a corresponding output based on the user required, what user is required. Okay, so machine instruction. Next, micro. Just now I said no. CU will have micro programs, and the micro programs will have a set of micro instructions, and those micro instructions internally will have a micro operations. Internally will have a micro operations. So some micro programs will be fetch and decode will be common now. Okay, why? Because first you need to fetch first in order to execute this, in order to get the corresponding signal for machine instruction. First, the control signals that are generated has to be fetched. For that, this is common. First, we need to have a fetch. Next, we need to have a decode. Fetch and decode is common for corresponding control signals. Once control unit is activated, first microprogram will be fetched, and next microprogram will be decoded. After decoding, we cannot identify whether it is conditional or whether it is unconditional or whether it is subroutine call or whether based on after decoding section. So until fetch and decode is sequence, but after decoding, based on what type of instruction that is present in that, we need to generate the corresponding signals. Okay, so if it is a branch, then we need to go to that particular branch in the main instruction. For that, control signals has to be generated. So in that case, we'll not be going in a sequence, we'll be going for that particular location. Okay, so in this case, can anyone tell me some micro programs? Till now I have given micro programs. First will be a fetch. Okay, so fetch is what the processor has to know that it has to read the instructions from the memory. Decode means the processor will be decoding and will be able to identify. Next, can anyone, what will be the next micro program? Think and tell me. Control signals has to be generated. Initially, I have shown you one animated video where for every time whatever it is there, a control signal has been generated, right? So for what purpose the next control signal has to be generated? After decoding, what it goes where?
Reading the effective address book.
Yes, it creating an effective address. Next,
Execution mode.
Execution, yes. In execution, concentrate. I have given fetch and decode, but I want from you to answer. So in an execution, how can an ALU knows that it has to perform addition? It has to perform, means we will be having two operands. Let us consider A plus B. The control unit has to generate a control signal that it has to perform an addition between these two operands. Means whether it is performing addition, subtraction, or multiplication. This is based on the opcode. Right? So why? Because based on the what we have present in the actual instruction, we will be having an opcode, right? So fetching is done. This is a normal flow. This signal has to be generated. Next, decoding is done. But after decoding, signal has been generated and normal flow, it will be decoded. And after decoding, based on what it is mentioned in the instruction, that corresponding signal has to be generated so that ALU will be performing the operation. For that, this input has to be selected. This input has to be given to C control memory. Okay, so means if it is mentioned here has add, so add corresponding control signals has to be generated so that ALU knows that between those two operands we need to perform addition. If this control memory is generating control signals for subtraction, then ALU knows that for those two operations it has to perform a subtraction. So every action to be done, these signals has to be generated. For that we need to write a code. So we are not writing when it is executing, we are writing in advance, and we are setting in a read only memory. Means what? Once it starts, so those instructions has to be executed one, and based on that the necessary control signals has to be generated. Okay, so for that, try to concentrate. So for that, the same like the normal flow, same like the normal machine instructions, try to understand. Same like the normal machine instruction, we used to have a program counter, right? So we used to have a program counter which stores the address of next instruction. From that program counter, we used to have a, from this we used to place in which register, ma?
Accumulator.
Accumulator or address register?
So address register.
Yes. So this, I'm not talking now about micro program, just I'm talking about the normal program machine instructions. Okay, so if you know, then this micro instruction format you can understand. So we have a program counter which stores address of next instruction. Soon after, if this address is given to address register, this will be incremented by 1, program counter plus 1. Okay, now this address register will be given to the instruction register, and this instruction register again to data register. This is a flow, right? So in the same way, even for microprogrammed control unit also, we'll be having a memory. Okay, so in this also we'll be having an address. In this also we'll be having an address. So it has to be executed. It has to be executed in sequence, or it has to be executed after fetch and decode will be in sequence. But after decoding, whether what operation is mentioned, based on that, those signals has to be generated. So for that, we need to maintain some kind of a register, right? So same like a program counter which maintains a sequence, here also in a micro program instructions also we need to maintain. For that, what we are maintaining is generator sequencer. Okay, next address generator, which will be calling as a sequencer. Okay, so consider this same as a program counter. Next address generator, it stores the next address of a control memory. It stores the next address of a control memory. Okay, so this is your control memory where you'll be having set of, what is this, micro, what is this, micro instruction or micro program? Micro
Program.
program will have a set of micro instructions. Will have a set of micro instructions, and each micro instructions will have a micro operations. Will have a micro operations. Okay, so here the address. For this you will be having whether it is micro instruction or it is executing, right? So we'll be having an address like 100, 101, 102, like that. Okay, so the starting address will be placed inside a sequencer. Then same like just now we have discussed about program counter will have a next address, and that address will be given to AR. In similarly here we are giving to control address register. Okay, so let us consider the control memory starting from 100. So you'll be having an address called 100. So it places in control address register 100. Okay, now it go by taking this address, it goes to the control memory, so which is read only memory in this case. So it goes to control memory, read only memory. Then so inside this read only memory you will be having two partitions. Okay, so what are those two partitions means? One side you will be having a micro operations to be executed, and the other side you will be having next address. The other side you will be having a next address. Okay, so it goes to that particular address. You will be having this micro instruction, and this instruction you will be having one side as micro operations and the other side is next address. Okay, so that's the reason this control, whatever it is there in that particular address, will be removing this part and will be placed inside control address register, data register. It's not address, data register. So it goes to that particular address 100, and whatever it is there in that particular address will be placed inside a control data register. Okay, so now whatever we have inside this micro operations will be executed. Control word, we'll be saying those as control word is nothing but a set of control variables. See here, control word is nothing but a control variables at any time as represented by 1 or 0, known as a control word. So here will be executed so that it generates a corresponding control signals. At the same time, this part next address means next address you will be having as 101. This next address will be given to the next address sequencer. So this the next address, which is this part, is given to the next address sequencer, so that it goes to 101. Again you will be having, let me clear. So like this you will be having a control memory, you will be having address for this control memory, and here you will be having a next address, which is let us consider it is 101, and here micro operations, this has to be executed. So it will be executing this. At the same time, the next address will be given to the address sequencer, okay, so that's the reason this will be calling as a control data register, will be calling as a pipeline register. Why? Because at that particular time it is executing the control word, and at the same time it is giving the whatever it is there in the address part to the address sequencer, where it is mentioned pipeline. Here, see here, holds a micro instruction read from the control memory, allows the execution of micro operations specified by the control word simultaneously with the generation of the next micro. So it simultaneously what it will do, the next address will be placed inside a next address generator. So that's the reason this will be called as a pipeline register. So control data register will be called as a pipeline register. So this is a flow. So you should understand this flow, then how this will be generated you can understand. So first is what? First you will be using a next address generator, whatever the address which is there here, we are giving to control address register, and it goes to this location. So consider this control memory will be like this with an address. Okay, so it goes to that address, and whatever there in this address will be placed inside a control data register. Okay, and control data register will execute this micro operations which are present, and at the same time it whatever it is there, this next address will be given to the next address sequencer. Okay, now what about this external input? You should think about your mind. Can anyone tell me what is this external input? See here, I already said that you'll having a microprograms. First is fetch. So fetch will have a set of micro instructions, like a program counter has to be placed inside address register. From address register, it has to be placed in instruction register. From instruction register, based on the type, we need to do all those, right? Next, decoding. Okay. So after decoding, in order to do ALU to perform whether it is addition or subtraction, we need to take the input from instruction. We need to take the input from instruction. So instruction is specified what instruction specified inside a math code. Specified as add, or it is specified as subtraction, or is it specified as increment or decrement. So based on that, so this is your external input. Means what? It is taking the input from the instruction. So inside an instruction, the part where the opcode is, this opcode part will be taken. Based on that, this particular whatever it is there in this will be generating a address, and it has to go to that address and it has to start executing. So let me show with an example. See here, ma. This is your control memory. Let us consider it is fetch, decode, it is add, it is sub, it is mul. Okay. So here the address of this fetch is 100, and this is 200, this is 300, this is 400, 500. Okay. And we'll be having a next address as 101, 102. This will be mentioned here, 102, 103, like that. Okay. But what happens after decoding means it has to be executed, these micro instructions, and after execution of micro instruction, the main program instruction format called opcode, this opcode, it has to take as an input, and whatever it is there here, it has to be placed inside a address register of control memory. Okay. So based on this, if let us suppose it is mentioned as 300, that indicates it is add. Okay. So it goes to this particular add and it executes this instruction. So if it is mentioned as, instead of add, if it is mentioned as subtraction after decoding, then it has to go to 400. It has to skip this add and it has to go to 400, and it has to execute these micro instructions to generate corresponding signal, so that ALU will perform a subtraction operation. Okay. So for that there will be a concept called okay, there will be a concept called a mapping. So we'll be discussing that also. So that is about the this one. Okay. That is about the one which is external input. So we'll be taking from the opcode of the instruction. They will be taking from the opcode of the instruction. Okay. So till now we have discussed about a sequencer and control address register, and with the help of this address register, it goes to control memory of that particular address, and in that address whatever it is mentioned will be placed in the control data register. And control data register is a pipeline register where it executes a micro operation, and simultaneously whatever it is there in that next address will be given to the address sequence. It will be given to the address sequencer. Okay. So now let me this selection the how can we get the address for control memory? See, one is just now I said that one is from an instruction selecting an opcode. That is one part. Okay, so instruction code. So for that we need to map this instruction whatever it is there to we need to go for a mapping logic so that that will be converted to a control memory address. And the other one is normal incrementer. So can anyone tell me when we'll be going for a normal incrementer? So address sequencer will be incremented by 1. So this will be incremented by 1. Now next will be 101. Next will be 102. Next will be 103. In which it goes to the normal sequence. Normal sequence 100, 101, 101, 103 means when there is no conditional or unconditional jumps, then it will be executed in normal sequence. So similarly, let us consider there are no jumping of particular location means it goes for a normal incrementer where your address sequencer will be incremented by 1. Okay, and the other input for address control addresses, the other input is from in code and the other input is from subroutine register. Okay, subroutine register. Why we need to take this from a subroutine register is after decoding if it identifies that that is a subroutine call means what we can anyone tell me what is subroutine call? What is subroutine call?
It's a function call, ma'am.
Yes, ma,
like-
very good. Thank you. Yes, subroutine call is nothing but a function call. So simply if you are in a main program and after some instructions, if it is saying as some means it is calling a sum function, so the next instructions will not be executed. It goes to that sum function and it executes. So for that also it has to generate a control signal saying that there is a jump from that sum from this. It should not execute this, it has to execute this. So that control signal has to be generated, right? So for that what we are doing, we are taking those addresses. So if the control signal if it is saying as sum, so that that address, for that we need to generate a signal saying that execute the next instruction, you need to go to the sum location and you need to execute that. So for that, what are the different ways where a sequence will not be executing, and we need to think all and based on that we need to get the address of that. Okay, first is instruction code where we are selecting an opcode. Based on that, in that whatever it is mentioned, those signals has to be generated. If it is mentioned as addition in that opcode, then addition necessary micro program, inside that micro program those micro instructions has to be executed so that corresponding control signals will be generated. And the other way is normal incrementing. So if fetch completes, then next it go decoding. After decoding only, the sequence will not be in a incrementer format. So next is subroutine register. So inside a subroutine register you will be having a based on the main program whatever the address it is mentioned, so that will be placed here. So based on that, if it is activated, that indicates that it is not going in a sequence, it is going to that, so that it has to generate those set of microprogram signals, so that the control from program counter from that address to the called address will be changing. So that is about subroutine register. Next about, and in which cases the execution flow will not be in a sequence. The other case is what? The other case is what? One is function call, and the other case is what? Where the program will not be executed in sequence. One is function call. You said one student said. The other case is what? Fast. Where your program will not be executed in sequence. Please, ma, answer. If you are writing like this, if some condition, execute this, else execute this part. Will it be executed in sequence? False. Will this be executed?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am. No.
Then I said one is conditional and the other one is
Function.
Loop call.
conditional. So based on the condition, if the condition satisfies, this set has to be executed, else the other false statements has to be executed. In such case, sequence will not be followed, where we'll not be going for incrementer. The other case is what? Subroutine is completed, increment is completed, conditional is completed. Next is what? ఇంకా ఎప్పుడు మనకి సీక్వెన్స్ లో ఎగ్జిక్యూషన్ అవ్వదు? గో టు, గుర్తుందా? గో టు, ఈజ్ ఇట్ కండిషనల్ ఆర్ అన్కండిషనల్?
Unconditional.
Conditional.
Yes, unconditional means what? In such case also you will not be executed in sequence. It has to stop here, and it is saying as go to 20, means it has to go to that particular 20. For that, how it goes means you need to generate a control signal saying that the next instruction to execute, not that one, you need to go to number 20, and whatever it is there in that instruction has to be executed. So we need to think about all the necessary conditions and to write a code such that the signals will be generated, and automatically the main execution program will not be disturbing. So that's the reason that for a multiplexer we are taking 4 inputs. One is incrementer, and the other one is a subroutine call, where subroutine register, where a function call occurs, then it has to stop its sequence and it has to jump to that particular location. And the other one is condition. If condition satisfies, then it has to execute those instructions based on the condition. So next one is what? Unconditioned. And the other one is what is present in the output, based on that those corresponding control signals has to be generated. So these are the 4 inputs that we are giving to the multiplexer. So after that, based on the output, you'll be having an address. So what is this? Why we are placing the output in a control address register is what? So we know that the subroutine register, inside that we have a 100. It indicates this is the address. So inside a control memory, it has to go to that address, and whatever it is there called a micro instruction, inside that you'll be having a micro operations. So if it is executed, control signals will be generated. So if control signals are generated, then a program counter knows that the next it should not store the next address. It has to go to the address where it is specified. So that's the reason that in order to mention these control signals, so here the whatever it is there in the subroutine register, so that has, if this is selected among 4, that address called 100, which is there in this register, will be placed in control address register as 100, and whatever it goes to that control memory, and we have in a control address register 100, so it will be going to that address and will be having a micro instruction inside that. So inside that micro instruction, I will be having a set of micro operations, and one part will be the next address and the other part is micro operations. So it will be executing those micro operations so that a control signals will be generated.